Some people say being a genuine Jewish leader only involves two things: being a leader and being Jewish. This couldn't be any further from the truth. To be a genuine Jewish leader, you need to have a positive self-image, you have to be able to welcome change and new ideas, you have to be able to identify yourself with Jewish leaders that affect modern-day Jewry, you have to know when criticism of Israel becomes anti-Semitism, why media bias against Israel and what we can do to combat it, and what can we do as Canadian Jewish teenagers to help and advocate for Israel. So I asked some more people I knew about how to advocate for Israel. And to tell you the truth, a lot of people don't really know, A, how to advocate for Israel or what advocacy really is. I'll show you these answers.
How do you advocate for Israel?
I don't even know what advocate means. Same question.
How do you advocate for Israel?
Say yes. Yes.
Patrick, how do you advocate for Israel?
I don't.
How do you advocate for Israel?
Wear kippah.
What?
Yes. Wear kippah. Eat matzah. Yes, that's exactly what I do. Eat bacon, grow a beard. Come around.
Chris, how do you advocate for Israel?
Eat bacon. You eat bacon.
You what?
Eat bacon. Bacon strips. And bacon strips. And bacon strips. Bacon strips. No, just... Why would you compromise?
As a Jewish teen, to advocate for Israel, the first thing I need to do is show my peers that when they read things in the media about Israel and they're negative, chances are they're probably untrue. There's so much media bias against Israel, and that if we show people that the media is biased against Israel, they'll stop believing everything they hear. Now, how can we advocate for Israel? The problem is most people, unless we show them good things about Israel, will just constantly think that Israel is an awful place, that it's a apartheid state. We need to show people that in Israel, Jews and Muslims and Christians and Scientologists and aliens, okay, not so much aliens, but all people of all races live together. And Israel is not a place where they care what color skin you are. You could be black, white, purple, yellow, orange, green, you name it. It's a place where human rights exist. It's a peace-loving country supported by people that love peace. So by showing people good things about Israel, such as all the humanitarian aid work that they do, such as that they sent first response teams to the Haiti earthquake and to the Japanese tsunami, we can show people that Israel is a great place. But for them to think that Israel is a great place, we have to do the work. It might be hard to convince them, but it will pay off in the end. I was curious to why media bias against Israel exists, and what can we do as Jewish leaders to stop it. So I went to my local Rebbe Shmuel Millerberg, and he gave me some very insightful ideas to why anti-Semitism exists and what we can do to stop it. Rabbi Shmuel Millerberg, why does anti-Semitism exist?
Well, for a reporter who is stationed in Israel, it is easier to find out information from the Israeli government than the Palestinian government. Because it is a democracy, Israel has freedom of the press, so the media can criticize the government. If you try to write articles of the Palestinian government, you could possibly end up dead. The media writes articles critical of Israel because the democratic rights that it gives to people ensure the freedom of the press and are actually open to criticism rather than the Palestinian government, who does not just offer freedom of the press to its people. Okay. People are aware that Israel is the sole democracy in the Middle East, and people have a certain expectation of democracies. People are also aware that in Palestinian territories, the idea of democracy does not exist. So when people who are not familiar with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict watch Israel defend itself from the Palestinians, they just think Israel is an evil nation that picks on the unfortunate Palestinians. They think that just because Israel is a democracy, they should be able to they should be held to a higher standard than the Palestinians. However, what most people don't realize is that Israel never actually starts the violence. They only use violence to defend themselves from Palestinian attacks. This double standard is in full effect, I tell you. And people need to have higher expectations of the Palestinians. Left-wing ideology promotes the idea of pacifism and abstaining from violence, and it also promotes the idea of human rights. When leftists see the method of self-defense that Israel uses against the Palestinians, they become angry, and accuse Israel of violating human rights and the Geneva Convention. However, these leftists should realize that Israel is only using violence in self-defense, and that if they really wanted to see human rights violations, they can go to Gaza and the West Bank, where women are treated as second-class citizens, among other rights violations. The left needs to sympathize with the Palestinians a little less.
So, Rabbi, what can we do as Jewish leaders to combat anti-Semitism?
I'm just stroking my payas. Finish. Sorry, what was that?
Rabbi, I asked, what can we do to combat anti-Semitism?
Well, you know, young one, there are many things we could do to combat anti-Semitism. We can form groups, groups that stand up to what we believe in, that combat anti-Semitism. We can, you know, write letters to organizations that can do something about it. We can raise money and send it to these organizations so that it can be stopped. There should be, and we could make Facebook groups, and we could write letters, and we could just, you know, that's what we could do.
All right, thanks for your time, Rabbi.
So for the three Jewish leaders that best affect modern Jewry, I thought that they were Theodor Herzl, Joshua, and Moses, even though they aren't the most modern leader. I asked some of my friends why they thought they were good leaders, and they didn't really know why. Their answers are kind of funny, but I'll share with my real answer right after the jump.
So guys, why was Moses a good Jewish leader?
I think it's because he split the Red Sea in half. He had a nice smile, nice white teeth.
Yes, sexy beard.
So guys, why was Joshua a good Jewish leader?
I think he's quite a good leader for leading his people and taking command when he needed to. Along with that, he had some, you know, God helped him out when he needed it most, and he was one of the people that had to lead his guys and just do what needed to be done. It takes audacity and good courage, friendship, and confidence to do all that. And I believe that Joshua was a fantastic, great Jewish leader, and, well, there aren't many like him. There are people who aspire to be him, but a lot of people do find inspiration from him. That's why nowadays we have tons of people named after Joshua, like Josh, or Jamin, or Joshi. It's a good name, it's a good namesake, and historically, he's a very important guy.
Tyler, why was Theodor Herzl a good Jewish leader?
He ran the synagogue with an iron fist. Did he not invent circumcision? I think that's a very important thing for you Jewish fellows. I think he kind of set the style for the Jews. He had the nice curly hair and the big nose and the bushy eyebrows, a little pudgy. I think he really, he was a good image for you guys to look up to, you know? And you guys...
I feel that the three leaders that have affected modern-day Jewry the most are Moses, Joshua, and Theodor Herzl. So even though these leaders aren't too modern, they've all had tremendous effects on modern-day Jewry. From Moses, we can learn many lessons, but we can learn one of them is humility. Moses was extremely humble, and when he was dealing with Pharaoh, he would never outright say, "Do this or God will smite you," or something on the lines of that. But he would always show that there was something else, showing humility. He was also extremely inquisitive. Moses would question God. What kind of person would question God? He wouldn't do it in a rude way. He was just curious. And by questioning God, he showed that we shouldn't be afraid to ask any sort of questions of ourselves and of others in our lives. Moving on to Joshua. People only associate Joshua as following the footsteps of Moses, but they couldn't be even more wrong. Joshua showed us all a tremendous lesson because he showed us the idea of patience. Joshua was constantly compared to Moses, but he didn't let the pressure get to him. He didn't crack. He didn't go psycho. He didn't murder anyone because of this. Because Joshua realized that he could sit there and he could go crazy from all the people comparing him to Moses, or he could realize that the people maybe miss Moses, and by being a good leader, he could show them that he could follow in Moses' footsteps. So Joshua showed us that we should really be patient and not let the little things in life bother us. Theodor Herzl was just a great Jewish leader, not only for his contributions to Zionism, but for what he taught all of us. Theodor Herzl went from being a secular, non-religious Jew to fully immersed in Zionism. He showed us that if a cause is truly important to us, then we should get on it. We should do whatever we can to make it come true. He also showed us not to take the easy way out in life. Israel could have technically been where Uganda was, but Herzl and the rest of the world Zionist Congress decided that Israel or bust. Herzl was a tremendous leader because he showed us that we all have to work for everything, that taking the easy way in life isn't a good one. And that is why he is another one of the best influential leaders that have affected modern-day Jewry.
Why is welcoming change and new ideas critical to a leader's effectiveness?
Well, I think it's critical for a leader's effectiveness because with change comes progress, and when different adjustments are made, then more progress can happen and things can move forward and get better. And I think it's really important for change to happen just because it's very beneficial and nothing can go wrong. Well, that's not true, things can go wrong, but it leaves more room for improvement.
Why is welcoming change and new ideas critical to a leader's effectiveness?
A leader needs to be able to accept change because they need to have an open mind to the situation in order to have the followers want to follow them, and change can sometimes be a positive thing for the group, so the leader must acknowledge that and be the one to make the change.
And also, if it's a positive change and if a leader is showing that change can be good, then a positive change could affect whatever group they're leading, and if they're a good leader, then everyone else will accept the changes they're trying to prohibit among the other people, and life will be good. Life will be great.
What role does a positive self-image play in the quest to influence the lives of others?
A positive self-image influences the lives of others because when you're positive, it reflects off of other people, and then they become positive themselves too.
What role does a positive self-image play in the quest to influence the lives of others?
It allows yourself to be more confident, and you are able to do things you would normally do, and to influence others, it helps them have more positive self-image also because they see that you like yourself and you're able to do things, and so they get influenced and they want to be like you and they respect you more.
How do we know when criticism of Israel becomes anti-Semitism? Why is anti-Zionism really anti-Semitism?
Okay, well, I think that all criticism of Israel is actually anti-Semitism because Israel is a land for all Jews to enjoy, and when you're criticizing it, it's not fair because you're criticizing the religion of Judaism as well, because that's how they celebrate it there and they enjoy it there as well. That is why criticizing Israel is also criticizing Jews.
And why is anti-Zionism really anti-Semitism?
And anti-Zionism is criticism of Israel, correct?
Yeah.
So, yes, when you criticize someone's land, and then you're basically criticizing their culture and their religion, and
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How do we know when criticism of Israel becomes anti-Semitism?
It's kind of hard to tell, but especially when it translates from just complaining about like the land and stuff and going towards like the religion in particular, I think that really crosses the line. So I think at that point it is.
How do we know when criticism of Israel becomes anti-Semitism? Why is anti-Zionism really anti-Semitism?
Alright, well, I think criticism of Israel becomes anti-Semitic when it becomes focused on, I guess, racial or cultural insults and criticism, much more than just the territory or land location. Because Israel is a place, and it is, just a piece of land, and it is important culturally and historically to people. But if you start insulting the people who are born there or of ethnic background there, then that's going to be a major issue. And I guess anti-Zionism could lead to anti-Semitism because I think the idea of Zion is a idea mentioned in Old Testament or in the Jewish religion. So if you hate that and begin to insult that and attack against that, then you would be attacking a belief or a strong idea within the Jewish community, and that would eventually become anti-Semitism. That's what I think at least.